Always my name wrong. Always Fixer. It's an F. Fixer.
It is.
Always
Well,
Mixer. Always Mixer. I'm going to allow it today. It's not a problem.
Apologies.
Not a problem.
This is,
no, you're absolutely fine, mate. How you doing?
I'm really sorry, bro, about that, but we'll get it fixed. It's poor stuff.
I'll fix it.
He said he's fixering it.
Oh, perfect.
Appreciate your time for coming on, mate. Look, pre-season has finished now. We've played, obviously, you've played Hearts, we've played QPR, Vissel Kobe, K-League All-Stars, and a doubleheader against Bayern. How are you feeling with the season a week away? Do you feel like we're ready for the season?
Ready? I don't know. Look, overall, I'm happy. We've seen the progression of what we wanted to see with Ange Ball, right? That's what we've seen. The progression is there. Everyone knows what they're doing finally, and that's my biggest takeaway from the entirety of the squad, from first team players down to youth. Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. I was really impressed with Archie Gray today, to be honest with you, playing a right back. He tucked in well into the midfield, which was my biggest concern. I don't think it was perfect by any stretch of the imagination compared to, obviously, Pedro Porro, but he did a good enough job and knew what he was meant to be doing. Pre-season, it was good. Like, I think, let's not get too disheartened because of the 2 Bayern Munich games, really. We had no first team defense in the first game. In the second game, we had a second half first team defense other than Archie Gray for Porro. I didn't think we looked terrible against them. We're forgetting this is a good... Just because Bayern didn't win a trophy last year doesn't mean anything, right? Like, they're a good side, and it was a great test. Like I say, Gray, I think he has a lot of learning to do, but I thought, considering he's just come in and he's learning the system, I felt like he understood what he needed to do quicker than I was expecting him at right back, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think he had a few struggles at the start of the half, but once he grew into it, he was actually really starting to get confident. He showed his quick feet, didn't he? And he showed, I think, what he can do in that position. So I'm very excited about him. Obviously, Bergvall as well. Those are the 2 shining lights, I think, from pre-season. Decky. Let's talk about Decky for a bit, because he's been probably, for me anyway, I don't know if you agree, but he's probably been my player of the pre-season so far. Well, not so far. Well, the pre-season's over now. So, he, another 2 goals today. I thought he was, again, probably our best player in the forward line. But what do we do with him next week? Solanke's here now. He's going to be playing probably up front. Ange Postecoglou saying, he sees no reason why Solanke can't play from the start. So where do we fit Kulusevski in? Do we put him back out on the right? Does Maddison come out? Do we play him with Maddison in midfield? What's your opinion?
Maddison comes out. Like, the proof's in the pudding at the end of the day, and pre-season he hasn't been good enough from start to finish. Like, obviously after the injury last season, he didn't have the greatest rest of the season. Obviously started on fire last year, but pre-season is for this very moment, right? It's to prove yourself. It's to show what you've got. Last season, you were brought in to do a job. You did a job very well at the start, ended a little bit poorly because of injury. It's a brand new season. Kulusevski has to start no matter what. Like, Maddison has to be dropped. It's not a if or a what or a maybe. It's a definite. Maddison needs to be dropped. This is the point of us elevating to finally be challenging to be a big team, right? Obviously, I know we're a big team, but you understand what I'm trying to say here when it comes to challenging for trophies. We have to have players in certain positions that, when they are out of form, can come in and do a job. Because FC is proving right now, over the entirety of pre-season, that he is the best man for the job right at the moment. That goes without saying. So Maddison, for me, he has to be dropped. He has to be. Son going back out on the wing for me is huge. I don't like him down the centre personally. Obviously, we've got our new striker, which I didn't want. I'm going to be honest. I wanted Tony, but the manager has spoken, so I get behind the player, of course. But yeah, no, Kulusevski has to start 100%.
So you're not on the Solanke bandwagon at the moment.
I am now. We bought him.
Yeah, we got him. But is it why would you prefer? Why would you say you prefer Tony over Solanke?
look, I just liked what Tony offered. We were talking about like corners and things like that, right? And Tony's very good in the air. I just liked his game more, and I probably saw his game more as well. I watched Tottenham. Tottenham. I'm not out here watching every single Premier League game on God's given earth. My missus won't let me. She'll beat me up, all right? Like, it's for me, it's a case of I watch Tottenham, right? So I only get to see glimpses of what I'm watching. But for me, overall, I prefer Tony, but that doesn't even matter anymore. My opinion on this doesn't even matter. We've got our man. This is what the manager wanted. He believes in him. I think there's quotes being out there of him saying he can deliver on everything we wanted. The one thing I think he's going to do really well is press from the front, which is what we need, right? We need a striker that can press from the front with a bag of energy, and he takes his chances. I've been watching a lot of clips on YouTube. He takes his chances when they're there. So if we can create for him, which with the likes of Son, Johnson, Werner when he comes on, we should be all right.
Don't sound too confident there that we should be all right. But in terms of, some issues we've still got going into the season. I know we didn't have our first choice back four today. And in fact, when we did have our first choice back four, we didn't concede a goal in that second half. But there are problems that keep kind of rearing their ugly head when it comes to set pieces, how often we allow players free at the back post as well, just in general play. These are problems that have been kind of consistent problems now for quite a while. I want to know from you, if Tottenham do get off to a dodgy start to the season, like, is Ange under pressure for you? Because there will be I'm not saying I feel this way, but I do feel like, let's say come November time, we're middling around mid-table, like 8th or 9th or something, or 7th, right? There will be fans who will be saying, look at our form from November to November. If you take that year of form, we've been kind of mid-table for a while now. And if we keep conceding the kind of goals we've been conceding in pre-season, and we're not learning our lessons, people will start to question him. So, like, for you, how do we solve these issues? What do you think? How will we solve the problem?
It's one of those ones for me where it was so apparent last season, right, that I felt like we needed a set-piece coach. I'm pretty sure he got asked in a press conference, and he was like, that's not the issue here. And I'm like, all right, it certainly looks like the issue here to me, if we're being honest. Like, we keep conceding from corners and free kicks. Like, it keeps happening, right? So, look, it's a hard one. The one thing I worry about with the manager is there not being a plan B. Like, I think that's something that a lot of the fans are worried about, right? Like, obviously, we love Ange when it's working. We love the high press. We love the high line. But when we come up against a Man City, etc., I ain't going to talk about the scum, let's be honest. We have to have a plan B. Like, we need a plan B. The set-piece issue for me, it feels like one that the players need to sort out. If I'm being honest, it's extra time on the pitch. I'm not saying that they're not doing the hard work already, and it seems like an issue that should have been fixed by now, because we've had a whole pre-season. But I think this is the issue when you play against, no disrespect to the clubs we played against, but lesser opponents. It doesn't really show the damage until you come up against a Bayern Munich, who are like, okay, this is their weakness. Let's use that against them. Boom, they do. We lose 3-2. It's pretty easy. But yeah, how to fix it? Honestly, I don't know. Again, it's hard to critique it when we didn't have Romero starting, we didn't have Van de Ven starting, we didn't, for me, it's just hard to critique it.
But what I would say to that is these haven't just been problems when we've had a makeshift defence. You cast your mind back to the back end of last season when we had these defeats to the likes of Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool. We had our first choice defence back then, and we had very similar problems, very similar issues. So, is it a case of personnel, or is it a case of how Ange is setting us up?
I think it's set up. I'll be honest. Like, I don't think it's a case of personnel. Like, come on, we got some of the best defenders in the league. Personally, I think the way they're being set up for set pieces clearly isn't correct. But I don't know how you fix it. Only the players can fix it. Only the coaches can fix it. Only the managers can fix it, right? That is as simple as it is. They have to learn from their mistakes. I think a big part of it comes down to the goalkeeper. again, if we look at the last couple of games, few mistakes there. I hope they're out of his system. You know, you're putting defenders under pressure. Last game? It was Spence he put under pressure.
Yeah.
Today it was Bazuma he put under pressure. And all it does is make them fearful of receiving the ball in those scary areas. The way we play football is by receiving the ball in those areas. So you've got to have faith in your goalkeeper to have your back. At the end of the day, Ange might not like it, but sometimes you've got to kick the ball up the pitch. It's as simple as that, right? Like,
and maybe with Solanke in through the door, we might be seeing a bit more of that.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's not plan A, mate. That sounds like a plan B to me, and we don't have one of those yet.
So, give me your first 11 for Leicester Monday night. What do you reckon we start with?
Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Mickey van der Ven, Undogi, Bazuma, Sarr, Kulusevski in the middle, Brennan Johnson on the right, Son on the left, and the big man up top. We know we signed him. We signed him for a lot of goddamn money. I don't want to hear no talk about, oh, he's not ready to sit him on the bench. You don't pay that type of money and you're not ready. This is Tottenham. You're in the big leagues now. It's time for you to deliver. You know, we've been through strikers before the Kane era. Trust me, I'm old. I remember when we were going through all those goddamn strikers and I was stressing. And it's the same again here. That's why I'm really happy that we signed a striker that is proven in this league. You know, we've been through. I don't need to remind the audience. We all know who I'm talking about.
We don't need a list of all the failed number 9s of this.
Exactly.
We'll be here all day.
I'd be interested. Do you not still feel like we kind of need one more? Because I really don't like Son down the middle. I really don't.
Well, we still have Richarlison.
Yeah, we do.
So,
right.
you know, if you count him.
To be fair, look, we look at Richarlison. Obviously, he come out and spoke about his mental issues and stuff like that, like mental health and things. A fit and healthy Richarlison still returns you 15 goals. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. So having that option out wide or off the bench if he's going to come in for Solanke, you're right. It's not a bad option to have, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Me, if I could have, I would have. I know he's already said that he's not leaving and things like that, but I would have cashed in on him real quick.
Send him off to Saudi.
I would have.
And Ange says we're still active in the market and he expects some movement between now and the end of the window. What do you expect? We know how many more signings?
What do I expect? So what I expect to happen is we hear nothing until deadline day, and then we bring in some guy that I've probably not heard of. That's probably what I expect. What I hope happens is we go get Eze, right? Like that's the player that we should be. That's the player we should be going to get at the end of the day. How much money does this club have at this point? You know, we got this stadium, we've got all this. The money is there. Go and do the business. That's what we need to do. If we want to compete with the Man Cities and the Arsenals and the Liverpools and all of these clubs, we have to have squad depth. It's something that I feel like we've lacked for years. And I like the squad right now. I have to say, overall, I do like the squad, other than, you know, left midfield with Werner. And that's where I do feel like we need. I know Eze. He can play there. He doesn't play there. I think Eze is the guy for that position personally.
Which position? The left.
To play out on the left to help out when Son. Look, let's not get it twisted.
But isn't it on the right we're short on now? Because we've got Werner there. Son can play on the left. But when you're looking at the right, Decky's now a central player. So we've only really got Brennan there. I
guess so. I mean, but they're also versatile, right? That's the thing with all of our forward players, to be fair to them, right? Like, they can all play across all multiple positions. And I think Eze is the same personally. He can play in the middle, he can play on either side of the wings. Again, I ain't the manager, I'm just a fan. It ain't my job to pick the team. I just get to have an opinion on it. But I would personally, I'd bring in Eze first. That's for me.
All right. MC Fixer, fixing all our issues going into the new season. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling in, bro. And we'll make sure we get your name right next time.
I appreciate
you.